So today our topic is resume and CV workshop. It's mostly just a workshop if you don't have a resume already, but we just kind of put a template up for you to kind of follow along if you don't have one already. If not, it's just kind of um more just of a refresher, and you can just update your own resume or CV when you have time. So just to kind of preface, of course, this is not professional advice, but we did take it from most of this information is from the Division of Career Pathways, which is the organization on campus that actually helps with the resume building and is kind of our official source for that kind of information. I also want to preface that this is kind of more of a discussion too. So if anyone has anything they want to add, please feel free to say something just so that we can kind of all contribute and just kind of pop in based on things that we've heard in the past. Maybe what you've heard was different from what the DCP is recommending or any of that kind of stuff. But let's go ahead and get started with the content.
Okay, so like Karina said, there is a template that you guys can follow, and if you scan the QR code there, you'll get access to that template. And this is UCI's general recommendation for how you should structure your resume. Every campus does have their own template for how they want you to plan your resume. Harvard has a really, really good one. I know, Karina, you use Harvard's, right?
Yeah.
So there are a whole bunch of templates across a whole bunch of campuses. Of course, you're at the best campus in the world, so use the best campus's, resume template. Why wouldn't you, right? And yeah, so I definitely recommend getting this QR code or at least having it on hand so you know where to get good resume resources.
Just so you know, the link is the same as the bottom one. So once these are posted, it'll be the same link that you can kind of refer to. All of the material or most of it is from the same link.
So general tips for a resume is that they're usually only a few pages long, but I'd recommend to keep it at 1 page if you can. Usually use normal fonts for that, like Times New Roman and Arial at 10 to 12 font. And you should also put the dates right aligned of all of your experiences, as well as other things that you mentioned on your resume. And keep the formatting consistent. So if you have a date italicized, keep it always italicized, always, to the right. And also some jobs and applications require that you give them a cover letter. So it's basically just a letter to the recruiter saying what skills and experiences you have that are relevant to the job. And yeah, so also resumes, I recommend if you are an undergraduate student, which all of you are obviously, you should put your GPA on your resume, because I actually went to a career fair recently and they said that if you do not put it on your resume, they expect it to be lower than it probably is. So they think you have low GPA. So definitely put that there. And then, so cover letters, there's also some templates for cover letters in the QR code from the previous slide, so you can check that out as well.
Okay, so now basically about the format. So you obviously start off with your name and contact information. You can contact information, a phone number, business email, if you have separate. So if you check your UCI email more, put that one. If you check your personal email more, put that one. But make sure it's one that you check a lot, because phone numbers, emails, LinkedIn's, handshakes, any other profile that you have, that's how they're going to contact you. Another interesting detail that's kind of unrelated to this but also relevant, that if you're applying to jobs, you now have, I know this is something everyone knows, but digital footprint. So if you have the same username for one thing that you use for a niche email, to which you have all of your crazy TikTok accounts addicted attached to that email, I wouldn't use that email. Have a separate email or a separate section, because your email, somehow they have software that can track everything you do. So if you put that on email which is connected to social media accounts with maybe a digital footprint that you're not really that proud of and trying to get rid of, use a different email. So just make sure your contact information is not associated with anything which would be deemed inappropriate, and just to have that. And then also just have your college information. Student at UC Irvine would apply for all of you guys right now. That's how undergrad, you could put second year, third year, fourth year, whatever you want. And again, like Nadine mentioned, GPA. It's a huge boost for you, honestly. It's going to help you more than it won't, because if you don't put it, they're going to assume a 2.0 or a 1.2. So even if you don't think your GPA is really great, just put it because it's better than a 2.0. Honors or awards, you want to keep this brief. You don't want to put like an entire thing, but say it's an award that doesn't make sense or like you have no idea, like the name means something niche, like the Bob Award, and then write like a small snippet that obtained because so and so, like this is why you did it. Short, professional, to the point. That's what you want for all your awards, all your descriptions, any relevant coursework. If you're hypothetically an engineering major, you know, biomedical engineering is a pre-med, and you did a project which kind of like, you know, you built something which is really good for people with like disabilities, and like you made like a really cool like presentation about it, include it. I know you did it as part of a class, but that counts as experience. Any experience is experience. So I would definitely put in anything that's relevant, the clubs you've been in, and you know, scholarships, stuff you've applied for, been involved in. And yeah, I think that's just like having those activities are really useful for you, and that's all I would recommend.
Okay, continuing with sections are related projects. So just like Sahar mentioned, if you have a project that you worked on for a class or some sort of like, you know, external project that you're really proud of, put it on your resume. People are going to want to know about it, right? And if it's something that, like Sahar said, helped people, right? Let's say that you made something that your local hospital started using, right? Put that down because the companies are going to want to know that you did something like that, and they're going to want to see that. Right. And then obviously one of the most important parts of your resume is experience. So clinical experience, any kind of experience that you have that would be relevant for the position you're applying for, put that down. So if you're applying to be like a hospital intern or a scribe, right? And you have, you know, 40 hours of clinical experience at some other local hospital, write it down because that clinical experience shows the person looking at your resume that you know what you're talking about and you're coming in with some sort of like a hand into the job that you're applying. Yeah. Okay. And just like it says there, you want to use action verbs to describe what you did, right? Specifically describe what you actually performed, and ideally don't lie about it, like be truthful, right? Just so make sure you provide a good explanation of what you did and how it helped you. Maybe like a quick snippet of this was good because so. Yeah. Okay. And then activities, volunteering, and leadership experience. This goes kind of hand in hand with like the experience section mentioned above. Sometimes people will combine the two and just put activities and experience. And I know that for the MCAT, not for the MCAT, AMC application, there is an entire section dedicated to like activities and experience, right? And so you want to have a lot of info on there detailing what you did, the activities you were part of, the clubs you were part of, and the things that you've done so that the person looking at your resume can really get a good idea of who the professional version of you is. And then the last thing is skills and interests. This is like a very interesting section for a lot of people. I'm going to use computer science as an example. So let's say you know like this really cool computer science language. Like let's say you know Python, right? And you're a bio student who wants to apply to this position. Knowing Python can benefit you because like that's something unique about you, right? And so you might want to write that down in the skills and interest position because it's something that someone can look at and say that, okay, well, everything else between these two applicants is the same, but you know something that this applicant doesn't in your skills and interest section. That can set you apart and give you a higher chance of getting the job you want.
And now we're just going to go through a couple of examples. Once again, this is on the QR code that we talked about. First, we're just going to go through their their biosci resume. Oh, here it is. There we go. Biology. But this is just kind of an example of what we've just been talking about. So you can see at the top here is that introduction with the contact information. There's education starting with UCI, and the dates are all right aligned. And then also here's a certification that Peter has. So Peter included it. For the experience, like we mentioned, you can kind of combine the section into all the experience that you've had. And then this was really, really cute to find out when I found out last year, but Peter was actually a part of AMSA. So that's really sweet. The DCP actually decided to include our club on this sample. So, and then finally, of course, like the skills. So one thing that we didn't directly talk about, but we can kind of mention is like laboratory skills. I know it's something that you're probably going to want when you're applying for labs or for research. Laboratory skills are great to put on here. And also, you can also include relevant coursework that you've done to while you're applying for those research positions. And when they ask you for your resume, if you have taken like, a chem lab or you've taken a bio lab, you can put that kind of stuff on here, like it was mentioned previously, as long as it's relevant to where you're applying. So kind of like the same thing that we talked about, curating your resume for whatever you're applying to. And then like Akrish mentioned, computer specialties or anything that you kind of just like any other skill that you have is great to put on here just because it might make you stand out. The next one that we're going to go over is specifically the pre-med resume. It's pretty similar, but of course there's a little bit of just like minor differences just because this is the same one. Whoops. But there's some just like a little bit of differences in how like specialized some pre-meds have made their like titles or section titles. But like you can kind of see kind of that like plain consistent formatting in this same resume. And of course, because this pre-health major is really into nursing, of course they're going to put kind of their specialties in nursing, and they're probably applying for a program that's specifically about nursing. So including that section was really relevant for this person. And even here, like international health volunteer, so like kind of like that whole section, and then the explanations are really important, like it was mentioned earlier. And note how they all start with kind of those action verbs. So those are it for the examples that we were going to go through specifically for resumes.
Okay, one last thing about resumes. Definitely you should have a master copy, basically that you can pull from anywhere, because obviously just write down everything that you have, all of your achievements in one go, format it all, and then when you need something, it's so easy to just pull, like just copy paste. So you can really personalize your resume for every job that you apply to. And then also, again, like keep in mind, these people, they are scanning it really fast. So, like bold all your stuff and make sure you can read it in basically under a minute or 30 seconds. So another thing is resume help. Obviously, if you need more help than just like the references that we've given, then there's also the main source, the Division of Career Pathways. The link that we have up there gives a lot of information on them and where to find them, and then what kind of help is offered. And then also the Writing Center, which again helps with resumes, and then also a lot of your cover letters if you need that. Obviously there's a lot of resources online already, and then also within these slides. But yeah, cover letters, generally keep them like, I don't know, just like specify your skills. Again, you're just kind of selling yourself. You're like, hey, listen, even if I don't have the experience, I have these, please take me. Like, well, don't say that, but like, hey, like I would be a really good fit. I'm all about progression. I really want to learn, like, so stuff like that. And then obviously these resources can help a lot with that, and just kind of developing your tone, as well as just kind of how to approach and like, hit those buzzwords that recruiters are looking for.
Can I make a quick point about that actually? So the DCP does a little bit more than just resume help. Obviously, resume help is like their biggest thing, but they also do like interview prep. So if you have an interview coming and you're like, I don't know how the hell to go about this, you can contact the DCP and they will set up like a mock interview for you. Like they'll like prep you with questions and they'll tell you how to answer it and what to answer, right? Like it's useful. So the DCP does a lot more than just resume help. I really recommend looking into them. They're really good. Okay. Curriculum vitae, is this me? Yeah.
It's just the introduction.
Curriculum vitae. So a CV. Yeah. Say what? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, so talking about like the differences between a resume and a CV. So resumes and curriculum vitae are documents that are like in an overall picture, those are what you submit when you're applying for jobs. They are relevant to your experience and your skills and other important details. As we've mentioned before, so your skills experience, your education, your volunteering, any of like new languages that you're learning, or anything that has to do with like the tech department. They're always looking for those buzzwords as mentioned. And the main differences, I know it says minor differences, but they are significantly different to the point where, depending on where you're applying and what country you're applying for and what
kind of career division you're applying for, they are significantly different to the point where each one is going to be applicable for something. And so a resume is a document, typically 1 page. And just to reiterate, 1 page, because most employers are only going to be looking at the first page. No one scrolls past the first page because they get thousands, if not tens of thousands of applications, and they don't have time to be looking through everything. So make sure if you are going past 1 page, put all the significant stuff on the first one. And so basically your resume is going to be summarizing your skills, experience, your accomplishments, and an effective resume succinctly describes your education and experiences as it relates to your targeted position. And a lot of people will put like a little blurb at the beginning of their resume, kind of talking about who they are in like a few words and why they're looking for that certain position. And then for a CV contains more details than a resume and often includes 4 additional sections. So you have your research experience, your teaching / mentoring, your experience, and then publications or poster presentations and references. And actually, if you are planning on applying anywhere outside of the United States, that might be a good thing for you to start looking at, because I haven't seen a foreign company or organization that hasn't requested a CV before. So it's good to kind of just like see where you're heading to and what you need for it.
And then we're also going to go through some examples of CVs because I know, yeah, it says minor, but once we look at them, they're really different. So we're just going to go ahead and look at just like a general template. Let's just go ahead and, of course, making sure there's no viruses, but okay.
What the?
Okay. Well, this is an example of just like a general CV. Of course, like the differences are outlined up here as well. But this is just a quick sample, but you can kind of see how many more sections there are, how much more information that you're getting from here. And this is obviously not 1 page. So that's just something kind of like a larger difference that is between resume and a CV. And then for this one, of course, this is not significantly longer, but you can kind of see like even like the references are already there because you're expecting that they're going to need to be called. So just kind of how much information you're putting on both is the major difference. And then the last one I think that we said we were looking at was the pre-med one. This one is really similar to the biosci one, but you know, projects and then presentations, like specifically if they've done like a poster and the date, of course, when they've done it. And then publications was another one. If you do have a publication, this is a great place to put it. And I've also seen some graduate students, they'll actually like write down their abstract and then include that kind of information in here as well under publications. But of course, at least giving like the citation here so that if anyone wants to find the research, they can. And then, but otherwise you can kind of see like some of the sections are really similar, like skills or the honors and awards. So some of the sections are really similar, but a CV kind of does require a lot more detail and a lot more effort in that regard. And then I think that's it for our CV. Because we actually extended board.
So we have some new board members. So board members are in the crowd. Please come up. Let's give them all a big round of applause. All right, let's get into it.
So hello, my name is Miriam Kara-Ali. I'm a 4th year biological sciences student.
Hi, my name's Nan. I'm a 3rd year bioscience majors.
Oh, I'm Allison and I'm a 1st year undeclared bioscience major.
Hi, I'm Gina. I'm a 2nd year bioscience major.
I'm Catherine. I'm social chair.
Hi, I'm Anjali. I am also social chair and I'm a 1st year bioscience major.
Hi, I'm Alden. I'm a webmaster and my 1st year computer science.
And so we were talking about all the, resume and CV outlines and what you should have on them. But there's other opportunities that you can take advantage of here at UCI, especially with the DCP. This week and next week are going to be like our graduate series in DCP, and there's going to be a career fair on Monday. So there's a lot of events coming up in that small flyer, the blue one. And as well as just with UCI, we hold a lot of other pre-med events, and generally there's one how to score 520 on the MCAT. Check Discord for that, and I post a lot of other opportunities that you can take advantage of as well on the Discord, so just keep updated on that, I guess. And then we also have a fundraiser today from 7 to 9 at Chaw, so we'll be going there together after this meeting, and you should definitely join, to socialize.